I say, this is a nasty situation, what?
Quite all right, old fellow. Chin up and all that. Carry on.
I'm Chiquita Banana, and I've come to say that you really shouldn't treat a fellow man this way. If you like to be refined and civilized, your eating habits really ought to be revised.
Nothing like a little bit of racism to kick things off, eh? I was actually going to start this video off a little bit different. In my left hand, I got a set of bananas, and in my right hand, I got a set of bananas. Now, these bananas in my left hand cost about $2.50, and I got them from a regular grocery store. But these bananas in my right hand, which are still very unripe, by the way, cost about $7 per banana, plus shipping. That just kind of reeked of, I'm an influencer, you know, it's not really my style anyway. Plus, I watched a ton of really informative videos about bananas, and a lot of them started out like,
these are bananas. And it's not just any kind of banana, it's called the Cavendish banana.
Here they grow the Cavendish banana.
You probably eat a lot of clones, because all bananas are clones, or at least Cavendish bananas are.
We've come here to the birthplace of the Cavendish banana.
99% of bananas exported to developed countries are just one group, called the Cavendish.
This is called a Cavendish banana.
This is the Cavendish banana.
This is a Gros Michel banana. It has a thicker skin than the Cavendish counterpart that you'll find in grocery stores all over the world, which makes this one a lot easier to transport. It's also stiffer, creamier, and a lot of people say better tasting. And it's the reason why, if the current strain of Panama disease ravaging the industrial banana industry gets any worse, it'll be the reason that you will probably never have one of these Cavendish bananas ever again, because like I said, it's a lot better tasting. Now, if you have any older friends, relatives, acquaintances, or if you've seen any news articles, you might have heard that bananas used to taste a lot better, but then something happened and one of the bananas went extinct and they replaced it with a different banana. Well, they didn't go extinct. I'm holding one in my hands right now. Actually, hold up. This one was a little bit overripe, but still ridiculously delicious. So this is the banana that my grandmother grew up with. I now live in a world without easy access to Gros Michel bananas like the rest of you. Same shirt, different day. I made this video over the course of 2 months, so prepare to see varying amounts of stubble and new hair growth. Anyways, a few months ago, I made a video talking about immigration, and in that video, I said, the Gros Michel isn't completely extinct, and there are still people that grow the Gros Michel. That is a weird sentence to say, and if anyone is willing to send me the $97 for 3 to 5 pounds, I'd be happy to do a little taste test comparison for y'all. The way that you can donate is on screen right now. Let me just thank Fred and Ryan for helping to make this video possible. Back in September, the box from Miami Fruit arrived carrying 14 bananas that are more than a Costco hot dog, they're more than a chicken bake, they're more than a rotisserie chicken. How is it that a banana, which is a tropical fruit that has to be imported for the majority of North America and Europe to enjoy, costs less than an apple, which is grown domestically? And why is it that when you go to a grocery store, you'll find various different types of apples or grapes or oranges or any other types of fruits, but you only find one type of banana? I'm gonna get to all of that, but first a word from our sponsor. This video was sponsored by me. I made this with my own wallet. Now granted, I did have a couple of amazing people who donated the money for me to purchase the main ingredient, but there were a ton of unforeseen expenses with this video. I cannot believe how much money I had to spend on this to make it. Not to mention the ridiculous amount of research that I had to do into the history of bananas and the banana industry, and there was so much writing and rewriting and rereading what I read to make sure that I got my facts straight. And not only research into the history, I also did a ton of research into the recipes that I used for the stuff that I made throughout this video, and there was a ton of content that I shot that I had to edit together and then drive a cohesive narrative. And I say all that to say this. It took a ton of work to make this video, and I had a blast doing it. Leaving me comments, liking, subscribing, and sharing my content does a ton to help me out, and that is absolutely free. But for those of you that want to and are able to in this new economy that we have where everything is expensive. Those of you who are able to help me out a little bit further, I invite you to join my Patreon. I have 2 tiers. One of them is only $1.30, which pays me $1 a month. And I have another tier where you get a little bit more, like you get early access to my YouTube videos and you get some behind the scenes content. This video is going to have a ton of behind the scenes content because there's just a mountain of footage that I shot for it. So if you want to, and more importantly, you want to and are able to, I invite you to check out my Patreon. All right, now I'm done with this shameless self-promotion. There will be no more shameless self-promotion throughout the rest of this video. Enjoy. The question of why does a tropical fruit, which has to be shipped from thousands of miles away and marketed immediately upon arrival due to its short shelf life, cost less than a domestically grown fruit with a longer shelf life has been on people's minds for over a century. In fact, in 1913, the Houston Chronicle noted that the banana went from a luxury item to one that common folk could eat by the dozen. Meanwhile, the price of apples continued to rise and pushed them out of the reach of the common man. During the years while the price of homegrown apples has mounted and fluctuated widely, the foreign-grown banana has had a vastly increased importation and consumption and has steadily decreased in price and steadily increased in quality. The husband and housewife of today can look back to 15 or 20 years ago when measly little bananas retailed for 5 cents a piece and when an indulgence in them was a luxury reserved for some special festive occasion. Today, one can buy a dozen bananas, each twice the size of those offered for sale in the years of the past generation, and of quality so far superior that no comparison would do it justice. The low cost of bananas won companies like United Fruit a lot of praise early on. Take, for example, this New York Times article from 1924. Lowly banana rebuilds an empire. Central America, one seat of Maya civilization, is coming back under modern enterprise. Little did they know that what they were praising would amount to crimes against humanity. The banana industry would cause the life expectancies of Central American men to drop. Many of their women were forced into the type of work that I can't mention on YouTube without this video getting demonetized, and they were big contributors to a lot of the instability that you still see in the region to this very day. But more on that later. Now, as far as pricing goes, that 1913 article from the Houston Chronicle attributed it to 2 things. One, United Fruit and other banana suppliers cut out the middleman by selling directly to stores. And secondly, they all realized that there was much more profit to be made by selling a lot of bananas at a low profit than selling a low amount of bananas at a high profit. For example, Bentley makes very nice vehicles, but they don't make a lot of vehicles. And last year they had a profit of $750 million. General Motors makes a lot of vehicles. Some of them are sold at a quarter of the price of a Bentley, and last year they had $21 billion in profit. Now I can already feel people typing that I'm comparing a niche luxury brand to a mass market brand, but I was literally just comparing apples to bananas. And a lot of people like myself would argue that a good chunk of that $21 billion of profit comes from surplus labor, from exploiting their employees, keeping their wages stagnant. It comes from moving production to different countries that have more lax labor and environmental protections. And comrade, I'm right there with you, all right? Deregulation and corporate greed are direct assaults on workers the world over, all right? Back in the Hey, you finna scare people with all this mask off anti-capitalist stuff. But you cannot talk about the history of bananas without talking about, I'm gonna let you, but you should probably do some stuff with the expensive bananas first, right? Yeah, you're right. One of the absolute favorite things that I used to watch on YouTube was this series called Worth It from the BuzzFeed people. It was basically these guys going around trying the same food or same food ingredient at 3 radically different price points.
So we're starting with a breakfasty pancake, then we'll be having a brunchy lunchy pancake, and then we're gonna have actually a dinner pancake.
I don't want to skim over the highlight of what you just said, which is brunchy lunchy.
Brunchy lunchy?
I've never heard that before, and that is one of the greatest things I've ever heard.
So these have been ripening for almost a week, and as you can see, a lot of them still have a ways to go. However, there are some of these over here in the back that have turned a pretty good shade of yellow. However, according to our United Fruit Company representative,
I'm Chiquita Banana, and I've come to say bananas have to ripen in a certain way, and when they're flecked with brown and have a golden hue, bananas taste the best and are the best for you.
Sorry. I finally have a Gros Michel banana that is at that stage of ripeness. It took a while to get there. So we're gonna test this guy versus this guy, which is a Cavendish banana. It's actually a little bit overripe, but it should still be a pretty fair their comparison. I've been dying to know what this will actually taste like. Let me get something to cleanse the palate in between. All right, here we go. Overripe Cavendish banana. Good. I really cannot wait to do this one. All right, let's experience history. It's just better. It's better. But we're not gonna stop there because I have in this box some banana Laffy Taffy, because apparently the banana flavoring for candy was inspired by this banana. So let's see if it actually tastes similar. Oh, okay. Hold on. It does taste like it. Hold on. Oh my God. Oh my God. Okay. It has the same brightness that this Gros Michel has that the Cavendish does not have. It's still different. It's not one-to-one, but it is so much closer to this guy than it is to this guy.
Should I blindfold and like not?
You like to blindfold yourself?
You know, pretty much all the time. Okay, here we go. We're good.
That's the tablecloth.
Yeah, but this'll work. This'll work. Okay, so this is A. Pleasant, sweet, really good sweet note on that bite. Really nice. Like that a lot. I like bananas in general, though, I should say. All right, this is bite 2.
I felt like this one has less flavor to it than this one. Okay. This one feels very neutral. It's still got the texture and everything, but this one's definitely got more of a high note. And this is where you tell us that one of these is cake.
I think I prefer this one.
You're holding up two?
This one
Okay,
I'm shaking.
the one that is in your right hand.
Yeah. This guy is,
Okay,
I think, is
that one.
Got the edge, a little sweeter. It's a little firmer, which is nice. This one's kind of mushier and has slightly less flavor. But that said, I actually really like both.
You are both correct.
So this is the Cavendish, and this is
that is the Cavendish. You now have Laffy Taffy candy.
Yes.
The Gros Michel flavor, or the Laffy Taffy flavor, was supposedly based on the Gros Michel banana.
By the way, first of all, these smell amazing. Like the smell of Laffy Taffy is actually really pleasant.
I have a box of them. You can have so many of them.
I can see it. I don't think they taste alike, but if I were a candy manufacturer and I was told to aim at this, it's believable that I landed here. Like, it's not impossible.
Jokes on every rapper.
How should you greet women's shoes?
With soul?
It's not a bad choice, but it's not the one they're looking for.
High.
High heels?
There it is. See?
We got Bananas Foster with Gros Michel on the left and Cavendish on the right, and some melting vanilla Haagen-Dazs ice cream. All right, so let's try the Cavendish first. Bananas Foster is always great. And the Cavendish with the Banana Foster. The Cavendish Banana Foster tastes normal, tastes like I've always had it. I'm not an expert at making it, still tastes very good. Now let's try it with a Gros Michel. It's just a better banana. Like, it tastes sweeter, older. Still though, it's a cooked banana, so it's not ridiculously better than the Cavendish. It's marginally better, but if you could order a Gros Michel version or a Cavendish version, you would choose the Gros Michel version every single time. Now, it's a little bit iffy as to whether or not this recipe was created with Cavendish or Gros Michel in mind, because it was created in the 1950s in New Orleans, and around that time is when Standard Fruit, which became the Dole Fruit Company, began to ship Cavendish bananas instead of Gros Michel because they were fighting Panama disease, and they chose that variety because it was a way to make sure that their monoculture was one that would actually be able to continue to grow. For me personally, I say you gotta go with the Gros Michel here. It tastes fantastic. This is probably the most pathetic banana split that you have ever seen, but I am approaching the end of my budget for this video. I couldn't even buy cherries. I wish I had cherries. But we've got the Gros Michel on the right, and we got the Cavendish on the left, so let's see what it's all about. This is a really good way to eat a banana. You know the drill. The Cavendish is not gonna get any W's here. I actually wasn't gonna make a banana split for this video because it's a really simple dessert, but I found out that it's actually from 1904, which makes it one of the first banana recipes that were invented in the United States. It's also one of the easiest, most fun, and tasty ways to directly compare a Gros Michel to a Cavendish. My chocolate topping reformed. It was just a melted down Cadbury bar. Surprising no one, the Gros Michel also wins this dish, which is kind of the theme of this entire video. But if you're in the know about bananas, you probably came into this video already knowing the Cavendish wasn't gonna win a single round. Yo, why this fruit company got a gun in their logo? Until the 1940s, there wasn't really a such thing as name brand bananas. They arrived to stores in boxes that displayed the name of their supplier, but once they hit the store shelves, customers didn't really have a way to differentiate what banana belonged to what company. So in an effort to try to get more people to buy more of their bananas, United Fruit came up with the brand name Chiquita.
Bananas like the climate of the very, very tropical equator. So you should never put bananas in the refrigerator.
That is a lie. Refrigeration is a huge component of how the banana industry was able to grow the way that it did. Bananas were shipped on refrigerated train cars and then refrigerated ships to markets that they never would have been able to reach before. Even to this very day, bananas are stored in refrigerated warehouses and pumped with ethylene gas to control their ripening process. If you want your bananas to last longer, then you absolutely need to store them in your refrigerator. Side note, bananas put out a moderate amount of ethylene gas, which causes other fruit to ripen faster. That's the reason why when Tasty put an apple and a banana in a bag together, the apple got riper, but the banana didn't.
Only the apple ripened. The next day, we took the apple out and just let the banana sit in the bag. They didn't ripen any faster than the ones we let sit on the counter.
If you want your bananas to get ripe faster, you need to store them with overripe fruit. So you can use an overripe apple or even an overripe banana. I learned this because the second half of the bananas that came in that box took forever to ripen. The stickers, which to this day are still individually placed on every banana by hand, wouldn't arrive until the 1960s, but the brand name wasn't the only thing that United Fruit came up with to try to get people to buy more bananas. They also came up with a recipe book to try to get people to incorporate bananas into their everyday cooking. If you go to their website and have a scroll through their recipe guide now, you'll see that they're clearly staying in their lane with desserts and various fruit salads. But back in the 1940s, they were a lot more delusional.
When bananas are all yellow or green tipped, they are just right for baking. We just peel them, brush them with butter. Now they are ready to bake in a moderate oven. 15 minutes, they should be nice and tender, easily pierced with a fork. Now they are ready to serve as a vegetable.
This has to be the weirdest plate of food that I have ever assembled. The Cavendish banana. I mean, like, warm banana is good banana. The thing about this recipe is that it calls for a green-tipped banana, or like a more firm banana, which means when you're dealing with the Cavendish banana, it's not really that ripe, so you don't really get a ton of banana flavor. It's way more starchy. So it's like I got protein, starch, starch, instead of protein, starch, vegetable. Not that I was thinking I would get some vegetable flavor anyway. That steak is like really good. And let's try the Gros Michel variety. Instant. It's just so much better. It's just so much better. I mean, this just tastes like what a banana should taste like. It's still a weird combination. Like, I would never make this on my own. But if you have a Gros Michel banana, you are not delusional for doing any of this. What you have in front of you is the Chiquita banana recipe guide's recipe for baked bananas. Oh. It is a banana with butter. It's supposed to be brushed with butter, but I just put a little bit of butter on it, and a little bit of salt. Baked for 15 minutes. You have a Cavendish variety, and you have a Gros Michel variety.
The salt has more of an impact than I was expecting.
Yeah, the salt is where this whole thing fell apart. Oh God.
I think this really helps out the Cavendish. I was talking about how I didn't really feel like this had as much flavor. And this really does goes a long way towards helping out the Cavendish. This one, I don't know, it feels like you were gilding the lily. I don't know if it helps as much. And definitely the salt has more of an impact on the flavor of the other one.
I'm on the same way. Like, I think if you're gonna cook your bananas and put butter on them, for whatever reason, the Cavendish is the one you want for this. It's better with this preparation, I think. The Gros Michel gets nothing out of being buttered. Like, it does not help it one bit. I like the regular Gros Michel a little bit more than I like the Cavendish, but man, when you cook them, it flip-flops pretty hard for me, I think.
I still prefer the Gros Michel. Like, it held on to its flavor to me versus the banana. The Cavendish kind of just turned to starch, or like mostly starch with like the hint of like.
That's probably why I like it, because it gets a little closer to tasting like a potato.
Okay.
Whereas the Gros Michel is like wildly inappropriate banana butter salt combo that does not like get any synergy. The Cavendish is like, oh cool, you don't want banana flavor now? I will let go. I will just become a starch here and give you butter and salt, so it's way more pleasant to eat in this way.
I didn't want my taste buds to be the only taste buds used in one of these old recipes, and obviously there's some difference of opinion, but for me personally, if I'm going to use a banana in a recipe, I still want it to at least reference the flavor of a banana. I don't want to turn it into a potato or a plankton. Like, if I want to taste a potato or a plankton, I'm going to use a potato or a plankton. Hey, ain't that pronounced plantain? Shut up, what? You climb up a mountain or a mountain? You drink from a fountain or a fountain? Then you're not criticize the way the folk them say it in Jamaica. All right, bro, my bad. Where was I? Oh yeah, warm bananas taste great. And you can tell whoever was making this guide discovered that pretty early on. But the thing is, if I'm gonna have a warm banana, I'm gonna... Everybody's so creative. No. All right, so a lot of you have probably seen the video of the woman making the bananas wrapped in ham with like mustard and hollandaise sauce poured all over it, or at least know of that recipe. And yes, it is from this time period. People were that delusional back in that day, but it is not one of the recipes that came from Chiquita. It's not in the Chiquita recipe book at all. So I didn't make that one. And I just am so thankful that they were not that delusional back in those. I'm just kidding, man. They use cheese instead of hollandaise sauce. Okay, so yeah, watch me make the most delusional banana recipe ever. Start with some good quality ham, a decent quality mustard, spread the mustard onto the ham with a spoon, and then I went and I got my favorite queso sauce from Qdoba because I didn't want to make my own queso for this ridiculous thing. And yeah, just go ahead and wrap the bananas in that ham. See how it looks like I'm not supposed to be doing this, but I did it anyway? Yeah, so you're supposed to like put butter on the bananas, but it's not going to affect much here. Don't worry about that. And then yeah, wasn't about to make a bunch of them, so I just got some foil and put that on part of a glass baking pan. And yeah, put them in there, throw some queso on there.
Cause it ain't gonna slide down easy if it ain't cheesy.
And then put that into an oven at 350 for like 30 minutes. And yeah, it's banana time. Look at this. I mean, this looks amazing, right? So delectable, so delicious. Look at that cheese just bubbling on there. You want to try this, don't you, man? I was so excited to try that. I'm not even going to cut away from the shot. I'm just going to let you bask in the deliciousness of this. Look how just delicious it looks. Look how excited I am to try it. Alright, this has to be the absolute most ridiculous thing I have ever made. I have two bananas. This is the Gros Michel and this is the Cavendish banana with the ham wrapped around with mustard. And then we put cheese sauce on it per the recipe from Chiquita Bananas, little recipe guide from like the 1950s or whatever. I've got a glass of water and some French bread for a palate cleanser. So let's dig into this. We're going to get some ham with the banana and some of the cheese sauce. All right. Cannot believe. Okay, here we go. It's not bad. It's not good either though. Like, I got mustard more than anything. Didn't get any sweetness from the banana at all. Barely tasted any of the cheese sauce. So let's try the Gros Michel banana. This is the expensive banana. This is like a $7 banana right here, as opposed to the 59-cent banana over here. Oh, hang on. Let me cleanse the palate. Hopefully this isn't a complete waste of a really good cheese sauce and a really good banana that's expensive. Oh. This is just by far a better banana. Oh my God. Like just bright sweetness. Okay, hang on. It's not good. Let me just be completely clear on one thing. This is not good. Do not make this, but like I can see why someone would have been delusional and thought that this recipe would work, because this banana actually makes it kind of work. You do get sweetness. You know, it's like the sweet and savory sort of deal. I'm not really getting the cheese sauce, but that banana is really good. I didn't have enough bananas to try every recipe from that guide, and I'm kind of glad I didn't, but with the exception of maybe the ham-wrapped bananas, they all tended to have one thing in common, which is that they all heavily relied on the natural flavor of the banana. Take, for example, the banana scallop recipe from that racist commercial I started this video with.
Take a yellow banana, or even one tipped with green. Cut the banana in pieces about this size. After dipping them in egg, Drain and roll in cornflake crumbs or breadcrumbs. Fry about 2 minutes until brown and tender. Then drain them well and serve hot.
To say banana scallops taste to me like very cultured eating. So won't you join me, please, old fellow? For this time I am treating.
Oh, yes, yes.
Up top we have 5 Gros Michel banana scallops, and down here we have 5 Cavendish banana scallops. We are going to start with the Cavendish. That's good. There's nothing special exactly to it, just fried banana with breadcrumbs. I think adding something else to the batter, to the mixture, would have made these taste a bit better. They are kind of dull. All right, and now let's try one of the Gros Michel banana scallops and we'll see if there's a difference. Instantly. It's just a better banana. It wasn't in the yellow flecked with brown state that they recommend you eat them in because you needed a more firm banana for this recipe, but it still packs like a ton of sweetness, a ton of banana flavor. It comes through. Still, something else would need to be added to this. It's not enough to have just banana dipped in egg wash and a breadcrumb mixture. You gotta have something else with like the actual batter. Like if you would have added something to the breadcrumbs, it would have tasted a lot better. No question, these are the better bananas. I mean, instantly from the first bite. It's basically just a deep fried banana that's been coated in either breadcrumbs or cornmeal. And if you have a really bold flavored banana like a Gros Michel, then it kind of works. But if you don't, then it's pretty meh. Hence, nobody's making that recipe today. You're much more likely to make a banana fritter, which Chiquita did provide a recipe for, but notice the difference between what Chiquita suggested in the 1940s versus how you would make it right now. Instead of mashing the banana and adding in sugar, cinnamon, vanilla extract, or other flavoring, they have you just slicing the banana into chunks similar to their banana scallop recipe and then dipping them into the fritter batter, which does contain sugar, but that's just going to be on the outer coating. The banana is still doing all of the heavy lifting in the recipe, and if you have a tasty banana, it will work. But if you make that banana fritter recipe with a Cavendish banana, it's not going to give you the same results. And that kind of begs the question of which banana would win if someone were to take an expensive Gros Michel banana, which is only available through specialty locations, and a cheap Cavendish banana, which is readily available in any supermarket around the world, and put them head to head against each other in a modern recipe that was made for a Cavendish. Well, I made the world's most expensive banana bread. So I mashed up some bananas, I melted some butter, I put some light brown sugar into a mixing bowl, added my butter to it, and then whisked it up by hand because I don't have a stand mixer, so it took forever. Add in an egg and whisk for many minutes until you get it nice and smooth. Then you add in your bananas, your sour cream, your vanilla extract, and whisk all of that together. And then you add in your flour, your baking soda, your nutmeg, and I also did a rough chop on some chocolate and added that to the mixture, got everything folded in there, and then got that into a pan, and then realized I didn't have a pan small enough because I had to cut the recipe in half and it wouldn't rise correctly. So I ran an audible and I made some banana bread cupcakes. You can see those right here getting formed, and I think that's a good audible, right? Put some turbinado sugar on top, put those into a 350-degree oven for about 35 minutes, and then they came out. Set them aside to cool down, and we have banana bread. The only thing left to do is do the exact same thing again with the Gros Michel bananas this time. Nice melted chocolate in there. All right, and Nice, right? I have a suspicion of how this is gonna go, but I'll share that maybe at the end of this segment. For now, let's try the Cavendish banana bread. It's good banana bread. All right, so let's try the Gros Michel banana bread with the exact same recipe. Okay. Very interesting. Very interesting.
I'm a very, very critical person on banana bread.
It smells good.
Unknown sample number 1.
Is there chocolate in here?
So there are the nut people and there are chocolate people.
Yeah, the chocolate people, the nut people are insane. The chocolate people are where it's at.
For sure you can taste the nutmeg. That's good.
You are the first person that has pointed out there was nutmeg.
Really? You can tell the difference.
First of all, it's exquisite.
That's good. I like the sugar on top. I like the chocolate chips.
I mean, I'm impressed with the banana bread making, so that's, if this is your doing, I'm impressed.
This tastes pretty similar to all the banana bread I've had.
And this has chocolate in it too?
Yeah.
Great. We're already off to an excellent start.
I think I already know.
Well, this is definitely different tasting.
It was definitely more banana forward.
Oh shit, I guess it is gonna be a little harder than I thought.
It's so subtle.
Are you serious? These are two different?
They are two different bananas. One of the bananas costs 1,000% more right now.
Really?
Which one do you think is the Gros Michel, the old sort of extinct banana, and which one's the regular store-bought banana?
Oh, that's hard. I don't like being wrong.
Yeah, I think I have a strong preference for this one over this one.
I don't think I can go back and say this is original banana. But at the same time, they both taste like banana.
I feel like I like this one better. This one tastes more like sweet, I guess. You know when you get a smoothie and they have too much of a banana flavor and it kind of like mutes the other flavors of the other fruits? I felt like that with this one. Like this one had more like fruit flavor and this one was kind of more like muted. This one has a more powerful banana flavor.
Okay.
The first one, it's very subtle and more blended.
Okay.
They're both good though.
This is a lot more muted than this one. I feel like this one is exploding with flavor.
You're lying. They are different.
Did I choose OG or did I choose the other one?
I think I like this one better.
I feel like this one's maybe the nicer one.
I'm gonna go with this one being the 1,000 times better one.
I feel like this is the original banana and this isn't the newer kind.
You are incorrect.
Oh no!
The one you liked more has the original Grand Michel banana. You are correct.
Really? Okay.
You are correct.
It is better. It is better. Straight up. Just better.
The one you ate first has the Gros Michel banana.
Okay. Thank God, because I thought my taste, I was gonna like have bad taste in bananas.
You are correct.
Yes! Yes! Where's my trophy? Where's my trophy?
The Cavendish banana.
Oh man.
It's not like a different like magical flavor like showed up out of nowhere and kind of like, hey, this is a different banana altogether. Like they do taste like the same fruit.
Yo, they really finna charge people $100 for some linen drawstring pants? It isn't fair to blame the banana industry for all of Colombia's problems, but it is important to point out that in that country and throughout Latin America, the destabilization resulting from banana-related interventions created a tradition of weak institutions, making it difficult for true democracy and fair economic policies to take hold. The Latin American tradition of governments not supported by the general population and propped up by overseas commercial interests was created under the authorship of United Fruit. Oxford defines a banana republic as a derogatory term referring to a small nation, especially in Central America, dependent on one crop or an influx of foreign capital. Seems like there's a story behind that term, doesn't it? On February 3rd, 1975, Eli Black, CEO of United Fruit Company, which had then changed its name to United Brand Company after a merger in 1970, took the elevator up to his office. He then broke the glass from one of the windows with his attaché case, cleaned up his mess, and then threw himself out of that window 44 stories to his death. Weeks later, the Securities Exchange Commission would uncover a $1.25 million bribe that he paid to the president of Honduras to lower the banana tax from 50 cents per box to 25 cents per box, which would have saved the company about $7.5 million per year in 1975 dollars, which is about $43 million per year in today's money. The scandal was called Bananagate. The recipient of the coup, Osvaldo Leopoldo López Arellano was ousted in a military coup a few months later, but that was really a baby coup. I mean, there's nothing compared to some of the coups that we've done or have had a hand in the Americas for bananas, and it also had the effect of getting rid of the alliance that banana growers had, which is the reason that there was a banana tax in the first place. And even though the term banana republic is linked to bananas, it's really just the most unrestricted version of Milton Friedman's form of capitalism that the United States is currently addicted to in action. For those of you who don't know, Milton Friedman is a Nobel Prize winning economist who many cite as planting the seed for the neoliberal politics that Western governments love so much today. He's the one that said the social responsibility of business is to increase profits. You said you was gonna let me. I know, I'm gonna let you cook, man, but you be getting carried away, so you got 3 minutes, no more. That ain't even enough to cover. You don't have to look any further than the history of the banana industry to see that doctrine executed in its purest form. Build a bunch of railways in the countries that you're getting your products from, but don't build any roadways or highways, because then the people living there might have other options for employment. Spend the absolute minimum on accommodations for the people that are working on your plantations. They don't need to sleep, they don't need sanitation, they're not even your employees, they're all independent contractors, so you don't even have to pay them a fair wage. Matter of fact, don't even pay them a wage, pay them in vouchers that they can only redeem in your company store. Is the government of some country trying to limit the amount of land that a foreign entity can own? Tell you what, get a bunch of mercenaries and overthrow that government, then have your government come in and play mediator, and they can install a friendly dictator who will give you like half of that country's land. Then you can kick all of the people off of that land and make them work for you. And then should some disease come up that's attacking the monoculture of a product that you're growing, you don't have to worry about how you're going to contain it. You can just move your plantation from one set of uncultivated land to another as the disease spreads. Ooh, and make sure you undervalue that land so you don't have to pay taxes on it. Oh wait, did the people just like democratically elect somebody that wants to do a land reform and give that land that you're not using to the people who used to live on it so that they can work it and provide for themselves, and they're offering you a settlement based off of that undervalued amount? Nah, can't have none of that. All right, so this is what we're gonna do. We're going to spread a bunch of communist misinformation and propaganda that communism is rising, and then we're gonna overthrow that government, and now we're just gonna make it a policy that we only back strongmen dictators who do things like ban communist words like strike or union or petition or worker. You can't say none of those words no more. Oh wow, did people someplace else like actually manage to form a union and now they're striking because they want like a 6-day work week and proper sanitation and for us to not pay them in coupons to the company store? And they want to be like employees and not independent contractors? Oh, no. All right, let's force that strongman government to just massacre those protesters, because if they don't, you see what happened to the other governments, right? Oh man, did a successful revolution happen somewhere where you have plantations and it's endangering your profits? Donate a bunch of your ships to your government's secret operation to do another one of them coups, man. Them coups been working out pretty well. And my personal favorite, did a company stop selling you a pesticide on account of it not only being extremely dangerous, but also because it sterilizes the men that work on your plantations? Sue that company for breach of contract. They're supposed to hold up their end of the bargain here, and them not doing it is affecting your profits, and that cannot happen. My bad, I might have gone a little bit over time. The pesticide company decided to forego their own profits and stop selling it, but United Fruit sued them so that they had to keep selling it to them. Oh yeah, actually it wasn't United Fruit though, that was Standard Fruit, which is dull, but yeah, they did that. That is crazy. The social responsibility of business is to increase profits. Quick bit of clarification here, they threatened to sue them for breach of contract and offered to indemnify them if any lawsuits arose, which had the effect of that company continuing to sell them the dangerous product. In this day and age, you can't really make a video about bananas without talking about... The hell? You can't really make a video about bananas without talking about... I cannot afford the license to that song or to have the revenue go to whoever owns it. I can talk about Panama. I'll talk about Panama all day. When have you ever seen the full force of the United States military go against a drug trafficker, man? Pablo Escobar in Colombia didn't have tanks coming out there, nothing like that. But Noriega over there in Panama, he was... My bad. You can't really talk about bananas in this day and age without talking about Panama disease.
They don't see plants. It's kind of an irregular shape. Those are all patches that have been knocked out by tropical rainfall. But there's hardly any down there. Because it's past the tipping point.
is threatening to do to the Cavendish what was already done to the Gros Michel, which is make it commercially non-viable. And once it shows up in the soil, you can't grow bananas in that place for about 30 years. I'm not going to get into the scientifics of it. There are plenty of videos that do an amazing job of that, some of which I'll link in the description. But what I do want to talk about is what was most interesting to me about it, which is a story of reintroduction. Bananas aren't from South America or Central America or the Caribbean, where the majority of them are grown for export. They're from Southeast Asia. There's over 1,000 different types of bananas. Bananas have been cultivated for a very long time, much longer than apples. In fact, the banana is probably the original forbidden fruit that was in the Garden of Eden. Adam and Eve most likely covered themselves with banana leaves and not fig leaves, and this only became an apple through several mistranslations over time.
You look at sort of the history of fruit, and there's some interesting twists, mistranslations of the word apple on the part of Renaissance painters. I'd say it's fairly likely that the original Garden of Eden legend, text, whatever you want to call it, in the original Genesis, actually was talking about bananas and not apples, based on cultural, geographic, and historic knowledge. Now, there are people who will say, no, it wasn't bananas, it was figs. And they're just stupid. Come on, let's get real.
The Gros Michel banana was discovered sometime in the 1830s, and it was taken to Martinique, where it became known as the Martinique banana. And then later it was taken to Jamaica, where its popularity began to grow even more, and people wanted to mass produce them. But they mass produced a monoculture, which is extremely dangerous. If all of that species of bananas are clones, genetically identical to each other, that means if one clone gets sick, they will all get sick. And if the sickness is in the soil, then those bananas can't be grown anywhere near that soil. Even though the Cavendish banana was resistant to the disease that was affecting its predecessor, it still had the exact same weakness. It was another monoculture. So when companies made the switch, it was only going to be a matter of time before something put it under the exact same threat. That threat appeared in the 1990s when banana exporters set their sights on plantations in Southeast Asia, and the world's most popular banana met a different strain of an old virus that it had no defenses against. That version of TR4 devastated those crops and left many acres of soil unable to grow the food that has become the staple of so many people around the world. Moreover, it has also spread to Africa and South America. The days of the Cavendish are numbered. That was a lot of doom and gloom there, but like a lot of videos that talk about bananas and Panama disease are doom and gloomy. Bananas aren't going to go away, as evidenced by the fact that I was able to purchase and eat and cook with a banana that many people thought was extinct. Many different scientists are trying to crossbreed bananas to make another one that's going to be tasty and resistant to Panama disease. There's already a scientist that grew a GMO banana which is resistant to Panama disease, but it's not commercially viable because many different countries that have much stricter food regulations than the United States will never accept a GMO product, and you need to sell a lot of bananas under the current banana pricing model in order to make a profit, so it's a no-go. And the other problem with the GMO banana is the same one that's affecting the Cavendish now and the same one that took the Gros Michel off of the market. It would be another monoculture. Personally, I think the best solution for bananas is one of genetic diversity. Why is it that we can go to a grocery store and choose between many different types of apples or oranges or grapes or other fruits, and there's only ever been one type of banana? Why can't we choose between a Cavendish or Gros Michel or Blue Java, which apparently tastes like ice cream, or a Lacatan, which has beta carotene, which helps out your eyes like carrots do? What might go away is the current pricing model that we've all become accustomed to. The route of genetic diversity isn't going to lead to cheap bananas like we currently have. The price would go up a bit. For example, the variety box of bananas from Miami Fruit cost about $97, which is the exact same amount as a box of Gros Michel bananas, and I only got 14 of those. However, if production were to ramp up on many different types of bananas, that cost would go down a bit. And really, an imported fruit that has to be shipped from thousands of miles away should never have ended up costing less than something that's being domestically grown. The only reason it did was because a lot of blood was spilled, a lot of governments were toppled, and many people suffered unimaginably making it so. Ooh, it's cold out here. Yo, if you made it this far, then let me just give you a huge thank you for watching this video. This has been the biggest budget video I've ever done. I wish it could have got out to y'all sooner, but I'm but one man with a day job and ADHD just trying to string together enough executive function points to make good content. Doing research into the history of the banana industry, you can't help but see the parallels between what happened to the banana workers both then and now and what's happening to the people that are mining cobalt or even the people that are farming chocolate. We got a lot of people being exploited, people being overworked, people not being paid a wage that they can live off of, people being trafficked and assaulted, people dying, all so that we can have smartphones and laptop batteries and electric cars. And the companies exploiting these people are purely doing it for profit. They could easily alleviate all of these things and make those people's lives better and make record profits, but they choose not to. But our voices matter. We can do the research and we can get the word out to help people be able to live a free and healthy life. Once again, thanks for watching this video. Leave me a comment and let me know what you thought of it. Hit the like button if you liked it. If you want to see more, hit the subscribe button, and let me know what topic you want me to do another big research project like this on. Ciao. Orange, glad I didn't say banana? I mean, probably not. Y'all saw how long this video was and y'all still clicked on it, so. You know, I originally wasn't gonna make banana pudding for this video, but then I found out that the recipe goes back to like the late 1800s, which means it would have been made with Gros Michel, which kind of means that I have to go ahead and make this video. I know it is a southern favorite, but yeah. Here we are. I know someone is definitely offended by this concoction that I've made. It's also a really fair way to directly compare the Cavendish to the Gros Michel, so let's go ahead and try it out. Still not a fan of banana pudding, but it's alright. I definitely wouldn't turn it down if somebody offered me one. Also, the banana that I ate at the beginning of this video wasn't my last Gros Michel. The one that's in this is, so this is me saying farewell.